So we will present the theory of the conversational fields by Isaacs, which are divided into like four different steps, if you could say like that. He doesn't use steps as a concept, but these fields, and field one is the field of politeness, if you could say like that. It's when you look at a different or a specific group or a board, for example. He uses the example of board of managers that are put together in order to go through some kind of conversation or dialogue. Then the first real issue or challenge that this group will be faced by is what can you say, restrictions in the shape of inherited norms, meaning that every member of the group would actually come forward or bring certain expectations of how to go into dialogue or to collaborate. And this is a field where there's what can you say? He says there's this crisis of emptiness, because often it would lead to a feeling of not knowing what to happen or knowing what should be said. Therefore, it's a field where people in this group or in this board would be confused a lot by what to say and what should happen to step forward or to come forward or even progress in this dialogue. And as he said, it's not a process that could be in a way pushed by any experts or any member. It's a natural process almost, and only at one point would some people start to begin as movers, and therefore they will also naturally become or be followers as part of this group. And that's field one. So.
And then you enter into field two, which is called the breakdown. And that's when the politeness slowly disappears and people say what they really think. And I think we all experience that in our groups, right? So in the beginning, just getting to know each other, and then you start putting out your own opinions, and it's kind of a coalition, like small atoms colliding, because it's a battle of whose opinion is more powerful than others. And it's about finding a way to cool down this exchange, where you have two options: or you go back into the first field, into politeness, or start to reflect, so really try to think about other opinions and enter into the next field. Do you want to add anything?
What we already found out is that you always have a certain amount of anger in that breakdown situation, because people are, I would say, like, some have, you could bring it together with a mental breakdown, people are freaking out a little bit, and that word breakdown of the second field, it just says everything. It's all about discussing with each other and just taking their own stand without actually reflecting. The paper says that there are a certain amount of people that are reflecting on a very limited basis, but I would say from our experiences that we had that people are not reflecting in that situation. It might be the people that are just observing that are reflecting on what's happening in the situation, but not the people that are actually arguing, because they're totally into the tunnel of arguing their own position.
And I think what's interesting, which experience we made in the yoga group, is that when we filmed the first video, we had so different opinions and everyone wanted to get through with their way of doing it. And for the second video, we then split up a bit and we were just in 3, and it worked so much better. So sometimes it's maybe also a solution to just reduce the numbers. And yeah, who's doing field 3?
And the third stage, at this stage, the different parties are like invited to sort of lower their barriers and broaden their horizon in order to get a better understanding of the other parties. So in this field or at this stage, the spirit of curiosity is very dominant, and because people are like more likely to lower their barriers, they're also able to become more reflective and maybe be more open to other assumptions or suggestions. Yeah, and this will also give the possibility of a new dialogue and unfold perhaps new meanings that can be useful for the next stage, the fourth one. Yeah, and I feel like that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, also in the comparison with the previous field, it can be said that like now the group members are not only positions but are seen as persons, so like they have their own background as well implemented into the conversation.
Yeah.
Moving on to the fourth stage, which is flow, and is also called generative dialogue. In this space, people are more aware of their participation in the group in general, and discover that what they say impacts everyone. People is said to have like an experience of flow, like a collective flow, and I think this quote was quite good. One person will think of something and another one will say it, so now we're all aligned, we all understand each other within the group. And to refer to like a practical example from the groups, we didn't sort of do individual group reflections, we did it from all the groups. So we thought about starting to generate useful movies and films, so maybe not the first film, maybe not the second movie, maybe the fourth or fifth film that we recorded in the groups, where we sort of have a common ground where everybody knows what to do and why we do it, and how to carry it out. And to be fair, I'm not sure that all groups reach this stage, but yeah, that's it, I think.
It kind of have a, despite the fact that it's a step by step, it has a look on the individual perhaps more than the group as I see it. At least that's the way I read some of the arguments that they wrote.
Yeah. I think the left side, it says primacy of parts. Those are where there's more focus on the individuals, but or the right side. But the left side, with the primacy of the whole, there they have more focus on the group.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know if it's a limitation, but you can step from politeness to the inquiry and just drop or just pass the breakdown without having it actually. This is not written in the paper. I assume I didn't read it because breakdown, not every group had a breakdown. They might have discussions, and I would say most of the discussions are on a professional basis without people freaking out. So the breakdown is, I would put them in brackets, and it's not always the case.
And this, I think, is one of the main, when you compare this one to artful making, for example, artful making doesn't really mention breakdowns. But this particular model comes out of, it was originally developed as a way to manage conflict resolution. And this is why breakdown plays quite a prominent role in, because it's difficult to have a conflict without some sort of breakdown.
Yeah.
Cool, fantastic. Give them a hand.